What's liquor license?
I think Nemo's moving on Superior.
I don't know. We'll have to
Yeah,
look at
I
this.
know that.
All right.
It's real good, yeah. They have every right to do that.
Right.
And so,
They can give reductions on one.
Right.
But I haven't seen anything come through yet.
all right,
As soon as it does,
all right. What time you got?
but hold on a minute.
Paul?
Yes, but there was no
All
answer.
right. Oh, now.
Oh, mature.
Huh?
Four thirty-two. Yeah. I'll go to 4:31. Four thirty-two. You want to wait till 4:35?
Let me give them 5 more minutes and then we're gonna get started. Maybe we should have had a meeting. Her job, maybe we should have had it at 5.
Well, she said 4:30.
Mhm.
She's the one that went 4:30.
Well, I was concerned about that anyway, because when you told me for my availability, I said evening, and this is not an evening meeting.
Justin Anderson,
So how's it going?
all right. Juan, how are you, sir? All right. Waiting on Counselor Gowdy. We're gonna give, well, we got 3 more minutes, then we gotta get started.
Huh? Who's she come to?
We know when it's 4:35.
It is.
All right. Special council meeting, considering finance is being called in. Clerk, what time is it?
4:35.
Okay, call the roll, please.
Counselor Stevenson. Counselor Bahoviac.
Present.
Counselor Gaudi's on her way. Counselor Martin.
Present,
You have quorum.
let's move forward.
Remarks from the public, limited 2 minutes on agenda items only. Anybody?
So, May, go ahead.
Speaking in reference to ordinance. I guess. 7422 as well as 7822. Appropriation. Have you had a budget hearing?
Yes. We had budget hearings about a week ago,
They were almost.
2 weeks ago, we saw every committee, all the departments, right?
So now it's passing the budget.
Right.
And then speaking, I think that we do have the freedom of speech, but we do not have freedom of disrupting council meeting as happened last Tuesday.
It's not on the agenda.
Mr. O'May said, you gotta speak, you know this, on the agenda, we can, those remarks will be at the end of the meeting, but yeah.
I'll deal with it at the end.
Thank you. Let's move forward, Madam Clerk.
Is there anybody else? Anybody on Zoom?
Anyone on Zoom? Let's move forward.
Legislation, ordinance number 7422.
No, before we do that. Okay, I'm gonna, ask with the cooperation council, if we have the finance, we got to leave in 15 minutes. The finance director, if you come up and tell us the key things we need to know, particularly to 2522 ordinance and 7822. Come on up, Charles. Thank you. Give us perspective, because I know you got to go, you can't speak. Thank you for showing, I called you at the last minute, go ahead.
No problem. So the first ordinance you have is the reappropriations of 2022. And so the key items there are just making sure that before we end the year that we have enough appropriations in each line item. In particular, particularly might have to make a transfer from the general fund to the PI fund for the capital improvement projects that have been going on around City Hall and city in particular. There also is a transfer needed from the general fund to the FEMA fund to cover the FEMA grant that we received for the ladder truck. There was a portion of it that the city needed to pay for. It's about $131,000 that of the $1 million that the city, almost $1 million the city received, we were required to pay $131,000. So that's a transfer from the general fund to the FEMA fund. So if you look at the ordinance, you'll see the transfers, I believe it's on page 2, and you will see the FEMA transfer. Other than that,
Hold on 1 second. Wait a minute, hold on. If she blurts out again without recognizing the chick, she's gonna be removed. Not tolerating this, you know. If she does not recognize the chick, she will be removed. That's why I have you here. Come on, God, you got already. You have to be recognized by the. Thank you.
talking about this.
Mhm. I am the chief.
When it's a special
Special
council
meeting,
meeting, it's not council president or vice president.
Thank you. Let the record reflect that Juanita God is in attendance. Okay, you can answer her question, but she has to be recognized by the chair. Go ahead. Ask the question, Ms. Mahoviak.
There are several places where it says page 2. One is, the first time it says page 2 is on the amendment itself.
That's what we're talking about.
clarify which one you.
I was referring to the amendment to the 22 appropriations, which would be
You have.
that page two. Mm-mm. We're talking about, right now, we're talking about the 2022 appropriation amendment.
Yeah.
Then we go back to. That one.
Thank you. Thank you. Are you, did you respond to a question, Charles?
Yes, I told her where.
Hold it. Just go ahead and have another question, says you had more than one.
Well, that's
One
the
for seven.
question.
Well, no, let's hear from Kareem. Councilwoman Kareem, see your question?
Can you tell me if these deficit accounts for the 2020 budget is clear for the end of the year, so that we don't get things like we did last?
That's the goal. That's why I have transfers. What I need to do is to get CDBG. I need to get a reimbursement from CDBG. That's a fund that right now is in the deficit. That I know I need to get the money reimbursed back to the city. Outside of that, transfers, if you see again, page 2 of the 2022 appropriation amendment, you'll see transfers. And so,
I see it.
the goal is to make sure that none of the funds are in the deficit by year end, based upon these transfers that you see there.
Okay. If I'm correct. I'm correct, and I look at the 2022 budget, there's approximately $6 million outstanding. Does that sound right to you? Sorry to what needs to be transferred.
So what needs to be transferred is the middle. So the changes we're making, the first column is the current appropriations. The middle column, yes, still on page 2. So the numbers in the first column represents the current appropriations. The numbers in the middle column is the changes that I'm asking council for approval to make. And the last column will be the new appropriation budget for 2022. So to answer your question, for just the general fund, on page 3 of the 2022 appropriation amendment, the middle column shows you how much we're asking council to change the current budget to the new budget. That's $1.6 million.
Based on my that's the fund that I see. But my other concern, can you just tell me how much money they gave us in our fund, the last allocation?
So the total amount that we got in ARPA funds is $26.6 million and
26 point. how much?
6, and it was broken up in 2 disbursements. We got the first disbursement in 2021, and we got the second disbursement this year.
No. Got it. Master Chief. Okay, Kareem, still haven't.
And that is, on this appropriation amendment, there is more than $3 million in other categories, and I look across this situation. I didn't get the total at all. Based on what I just told here, I'm over $3 million there. So that amount of money to be in other not to have an explanation.
So Charles, what is your response to her concern?
I provided, we had the discussion a couple years ago about other, and I can pull up via email, not right now, but I actually provided a memo explaining to council as a whole what is in other for future reference. So I'll just,
Oh, God, you not recognize. Go ahead.
so I will pull up the old email that I sent to council about a year and a half ago, explaining the other category and what's in it. Again, for, future reference.
So basically we're transferring what, about 1.7 billion?
Yes,
Yeah,
not transferring, just for transfers it by itself,
okay,
only 1.3.
1.3 million, right?
Yes,
Okay.
the total, just changing of and we're talking about the general fund. There's no other transfer. You only transfer money from general fund to other funds. And so the total changes in the total budget for the general fund is on page 3. It's 1.6.
1.6 million.
Mm-hmm.
So they're gonna.
Well, value have been recognized. Go ahead. And Jim,
So that-
Jim's gonna hear from Mr. Hobart. We'll move forward.
Yeah, and then I have to get going in the next couple months.
That question,
Go
I
ahead.
got question,
You
I
get
know
one
you gotta
question.
get home, but we don't wanna clock this. This is very, very, very important.
And I would say if you can still get your questions answered, you can just send it to me in the email.
Okay, you just say transfer funding and you want to bring it to us and all that, and, okay, so when you transfer the funds to another fund, where's it going? Into, which department is going? in?
So on
We got a lot
page,
of departments.
so on page 2 of the 2022 appropriation amendment,
Okay,
you see the section says transfers.
Yes.
yeah, I see it right here.
Okay, so I'm indicating to you which fund that we're making transfers to.
Okay, and this because of what? We short of funds, something, what's going on?
So most of these funds is because there's not enough money that goes into these funds to support the cost. So for example, the street fund. So from my understanding, council and obviously with residents enjoy and appreciate the services that the service department provides. And
Okay,
so we have to pay for that. So the service department, most of the funds comes from the gas tax.
Mhm.
So, but all the services that the service department provides, tree cutting, grass cutting, cold patching, you name it, the money goes in from the gas tax and not enough money to support all the services that everyone has been, appreciating and enjoying from the service department. So that's why we had to make a transfer from the general fund to the service to support all the services that you all want.
All the services on this service department. Because this is not enough money to. It's shortage. I mean, if you look at the end of the year, time you pay out everybody, it's going to come short. And you're gonna come back for more.
Well, not this year.
If we do the transfer, based on what I'm seeing here, we have everything covered. That's correct.
That's correct.
So you won't be coming back for more saying they don't have enough funds or something.
Well, this is December 12th, so no, you don't.
Saying a lot of this, I mean, it's a million, I mean, it's a lot of money, but it's a short money because you have to span it out. To the different staffs, different people, that's in the departments. Is that
Right.
true?
Yeah, so not talking about just transfer, just one particular thing, just all the other transactions, all the other moves we're making in the budget from all the different departments. You can see some departments from what was initially budgeted to what I'm proposing, for example, in the mayor's office, the initial total appropriation was $402,000. Mayor's office right under transfers. I'm saying that $402,000 is not needed for the mayor's office by year end. I'm deducting $20,000 out of there, and I'm saying that the mayor's office by year end only going to need $382,000. And that's across the board. Each department, each is different in terms of what they need and what they don't need.
Okay,
So,
one more question. We got
Again, like I said, if you have any other more questions, you can, email.
Yeah,
You
answer,
keep cutting me, you
ask-
keep cutting me.
please ask the question.
Just don't rush.
Well,
When I
well,
ask a question, I need a clear answer. Quit cutting me. I need to know, okay, with this budget right here, and you gonna, take $20,000 off the budget? That's what you're saying?
Right.
No, that's just
You
the
said
mayor. Just
right,
talk about
you
the.
said
I'm
no.
talking about the mayor's office. So just I was
Yeah,
just giving
so
you an
that's-
example, right?
Okay.
If you look at each department, you can see what I'm doing with each department.
All right. So, and I heard about, okay, the money that's, okay, show me where the money is coming in from the police department, because we got a toll, they told cars like crazy, and we need to know how much money they make. Is it in here? In this budget? Because this is the first time I see it.
You won't see
So,
what how much
that's
money
why I
the
asked the
tow.
question. That's fine.
Now, you want to know how much the tow is making? That's on a
Yes.
separate document. That's on
That's
the
what
mayor's
it is.
estimate, which is also included in this packet.
And how much is, and also included with the cameras?
Yes, that's also in
Okay.
there too.
So
Yeah.
what page?
That'll be on the mayor's 2023 mayor's estimate. So far as the tow, so when I did the,
What page is it?
What page?
oh no, I'm not there yet. I'll let you know. So that's page 7 on the top of the page, it says 2023 mayor's estimate, estimated resources. And it's page 7.
Okay, so that's right here.
At the top of the page, it says 2023 mayor's estimate, estimated resources.
Because I just got that.
Right
I
here.
just got that.
I sent the mayor's estimate November 15th.
Oh.
Okay,
So
where,
we just put it on- Oh.
Right.
we just put it
Right
on.
here. Okay, right. Now, where is you talking about the, cartoon, right?
Towing, so if you look at the third to last
Where's the impound fees?
Impound.
before that, towing and release, both of those, towing and release and impound fees, if you add those two numbers together, as of when I put this report together, which was in November, at that time, we had receipted a total of, it looks like about $530,000 at that time. So,
And so it should be more. now.
yeah, it's gonna be more now.
Okay. Here.
The cameras, that's on page 9 of the same document.
Order speed enforcement and illegal collection of traffic.
That's correct.
Right.
That's, looks like about $1.2 million.
For real? There it goes right here.
Yeah,
Okay,
right,
yeah.
right, right here. While you finding the person, I want to ask you, we have what, to March to pass the budget? When does the fiscal commission want to pass the budget?
The fiscal commission wants a budget passed by year end.
So that by the end of this month.
That's
right?
correct. And the meeting is tomorrow, and the chair
So meeting
can,
tomorrow,
Mhm.
July?
that's correct. 1:30, you can, the chair, Matei Smith, can, if you ask her the same question, she'll give you the same answer.
One more. Some of the money for the red light, I mean, the campers, it's supposed to go to the street. How much money is that going on the streets, the roads and highways?
So there hasn't been a true accounting of that, but anything that the service department needs in terms of fixing potholes and everything, we've been funding all their services. So it's nothing that hasn't been asked that the service department is not doing in terms of filling potholes.
I asked you a question.
Mhm. I understand. Yeah, I'm telling you that there's no accounting how much money has been. We're making a transfer of $648,000, but we're making it again, the transfer page on number 2 on the 2022 reappropriations. You'll see we're making a transfer of $648,000 to the service department
Yeah.
from the general fund.
I'm going to let Mr. Roback, then I have one question for you, but I'm gonna let Mr. Roback go. There's one more question and we gotta go.
As I looked at this appropriation amendment,
Thank you.
2022 appropriation amendment, pages 2 through 7. And I looked at the categories. I looked at the categories listed as other, pages 1 through 7. So for example, the police is 807,000. 281,500 for impounding, 260,530, 216,054,000, 64,595, 882,200 for skipping ahead, central services, $3,557,429.43. And that's not the only one that's in the millions. Now, you had said that you had sent something a couple years ago to the people who were on the council then. For one thing, you need to always be aware that some of us were not on council then, and we did not get that piece of information. So that piece of information should be sent out with every budget, whatever you're talking about. The other thing is, however, that my estimate and this is very rough, I didn't add every dollar and every penny, someplace between 15 and $17 million. And I don't want a general description that was accurate 3 or 4 years ago. I want a specific set of line items that are accurate for this budget, not something that is this many millions of dollars off. The other thing that I'm concerned about, my understanding from this previously is that we are spending more than we are bringing in. Is that accurate?
For 2023, yes, that's correct.
Okay, so the other thing is, can you address the fact that we have all these millions of dollars that just say other? What are they?
So on the mayor's estimate in this packet, I could see where it could be some confusion, because the mayor's estimate cover was stapled to the appropriation, so it's just a little out of order. This cover should be on a different page. So starting on the mayor's 2023 mayor's estimate, starting on page 2023.
Page 1, the first one is general fund police, and if you go to other, it's 807,000.
So what I'm trying to explain to you is, if you want to understand what other is, if you go to page 18 on the 2023 mayor's estimate appropriations, these are all the accounts for each department. And so the appropriations, all it is doing is surmising all the accounts that are displayed, for example, for the police department on page 18. I think that's about, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna estimate it's like maybe 20 account line items. So the appropriations, all it's doing is surmising those 20.
Surmising?
They're just grouping the account numbers. That's here. The appropriation, all it's doing is salaries, all the account numbers that belong to salaries, all it is subtotaling.
Okay, what about other?
Other is everything that's not salaries and fringe benefits. That's all other represents. So you want to know what other is, you have all these account numbers that represent other.
Specify what of this is other. Because this does not specifically tell me what is other.
So I'll send you all the email I sent before that represent other.
Now, before you go, based on the question from Kareem Stevenson, Patricia over at Valley, what is basically your feel about the budget for 2023? What is the main thing the council needs to know?
Simple as Councilor Behovia just said, there's more spending that resources, yeah, because of the camera ticket reduction, because of local government reduction, that's why our resources have reduced from 2022 to reduced from 2022 moving forward because of the whole camera ticket and local government issue that's been an issue for the last 3-4 years. Now, the state is going to take our local government money because of the traffic camera.
We lose a lot of revenue from the traffic situation.
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Kareem.
What can we
One
do
more
about
question.
that, Charles? Can we, I mean, what do we need to do? Because we shouldn't be losing money for any reason.
That question, unfortunately, you have to talk to the mayor in terms of, well, what should we do?
And this,
That's right.
this starts in January, that will
The
be
reductions
losing money
already started. Started in August.
of this
Of
year.
this year.
So we're 6 months into reduction.
That's correct.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. Okay, thank you for sticking around.
Mm,
Madam Clerk, let's move forward.
Ordinance number, these are all, these are both first reading. Ordinance number 7422, amending ordinance 3522 that amended 8821. An ordinance to amend ordinance number 3522 to make appropriations in various funds for the current expenses and other expenditures of the city of East Cleveland for the period between January 1st, 2022, ending December 31st, 2022.
Okay, ordinance 7222 bears your name, Kareem Stevenson. What is your pleasure?
The first read.
The first
Council
read.
President.
Okay, let's go to the next one. It's the first read. Let's go to the next one.
There's no next one.
Yes, it is.
Ordinance number
72. 7822, go ahead.
Appropriations in various funds for the current expenses and other expenditures of the city of East Cleveland for the
Yeah.
period between January 1st, 2023, and December 31st, 2023.
But she had already read it.
She read this one. She didn't.
Okay,
We had already discussed that. Didn't we?
it's the first read. I don't have the, madam. Yeah. Kareem Stevenson, ordinance 7422 bears your name. What is your pleasure?
We're not on, what are we
Yeah,
on?
yeah,
We
yeah,
on
next one.
78.
First read.
Yeah, they're both first reading.
They're both first reads, so there's no pleasure for me to have.
Okay.
So it's, are we going to?
We need to discuss this budget. and the adjustments that need to be made to this budget and the deadline for appropriating these funds.
Well, the finance director is, he would like to see if we can get this done. Today is the 12th, right before the end of the year. So we need to have another meeting to go into the budget in depth. So, what is your pleasure? Mr. Stevenson?
My pleasure is to discuss this right now
Well, this, we
and to
discussed it
make,
right now.
to hear the counselor's suggestions for modification and to move forward upon the counselors giving their modifications to the budget.
Oh, hold it, come in, sir.
No, I'm trying to see if I'm in a, you said facing a, some.
This is a council meeting, sir.
Okay, we want to start with you, Ms. Stevenson, your recommendation?
We had discussed at the last meeting, things that we wanted to see occur, like increases in the supervisor of the service department salary. That's the thing that I remember. The other thing that I'm looking at is we're running a deficit. And this budget for 2023 is going to run a deficit because you got $6 million, 6 million from 2022 outstanding unpaid bills. 6 million. So if you got $6 million from 2022, Charles is saying he's only transferring 1.6 for the general fund. But there are expenses outside of the general fund that are in deficit classification. According to our fiscal commission and our fiscal emergency agreement, we cannot have deficits at the end of the year. That's a violation of our fiscal emergency ordinance and a violation of state law, which puts us in a very precarious place because now we have 1 week to finalize a budget and to make the document corrections. Because we have to have a budget, as you heard Charles say, on January 1. We can't have a budget on March 30th. We got to have a budget on January 1. And that budget needs to be accurate enough to carry us for at least 6 months. The problem we're having is there's overspending, and that overspending is causing us grave issues. The contracts that are in professional services are way out of whack. They don't come before the council. We have no way of monitoring it. I brought it to this council's attention on several prior occasions. We don't get the contracts if there is a contract. I believe we got 2021 contracts, but we're in year 2022. I don't know for sure how many 2022 contracts we have received. But I do know that we are spending more money than we have. And we cannot continue to spend more money than we have. We will never get out of fiscal emergency at this rate. Never.
The points were taken, Mr. Holiak.
I think that there are too many outstanding questions at this point in time to make any kind of reasonable assessment of what needs to be done.
Just my suggestion, gonna do this thing right. We need the mayor here, we need Charles here.
Right.
So we need to set up another meeting for they're here. And we'll go through the line items, we have to take hours to cut this area where we cut the professional line items.
Yeah, because we don't have the money. You spending money we don't have. We ain't got it.
And they don't come, and they don't, I was in the middle of something, and they don't come and they don't stay if they do come. So we're really having inadequate support from the administration in order to make intelligent decisions.
And I definitely
Go ahead,
need,
Val.
I definitely need to know that, you know, that the mayor do need to be
Yes,
here at the time, and we need a better understanding, because Charles is not he's speaking this, you know, I mean, he give us stuff and then he gone, and it's not it. Nobody here to represent the city, nobody in here.
Next Tuesday's a regular council meeting. We only had 2 second reads that we have to move forward, and they're side lots. So
Alright.
next week would be advantageous for the council if you want to do that on the 20th.
No, that-
No, that's the council meeting.
Yeah.
Can we
need emergency.
Can we do something, Thursday or Friday this week?
Gonna have to do something.
We got it, we can't do anything unless we have the mayor here and the finance director. So I tell you what, see,
No, that, well,
right,
Can
go
I-
ahead, Corey.
they don't have to show up. We can do stuff.
No, I need them here so we can answer.
We can-
questions.
Well, this is our second or third meeting, and we don't need them here to cut this budget.
I understand.
Now,
that,
if
but
they,
need them
we
here.
want them
That's
here,
what I'm saying.
but,
They don't.
They got it. We have, go ahead. Corey.
and the other thing is that we don't have until the 20th to wait to do
That's why I
this.
said let's try to do it at the end of the week.
So we need to have another meeting because you all want to give them the benefit of coming in.
Right. Well, I tell
Okay.
you what, we're gonna shoot for Friday. If we can have a meeting Friday, if we can shoot for Friday, we're going. Now, how does your time look on Friday, Ms. Valley?
I'm gonna be open, I'm gonna have to be open.
Okay, let's set it up like.
May I? Hello?
Go ahead, is that Will?
Yes.
Go ahead, Will.
Okay, the fiscal commission meeting is tomorrow. The budget that the counselors have before them is balanced, so they can ask the questions and get some responsible answers tomorrow. Any questions? Because the budget that is before you now is balanced. It's just that I guess there's some confusion in terms of, reading it. So,
So are you suggesting that they come to the fiscal commission meeting and ask questions to the fiscal?
yes.
Can I
Go
interject?
ahead, Ms. Stevens. Go ahead.
Attorney Hemmings, the fiscal commission does not allow anyone to ask questions except for the chair or the person assigned to sit on that commission. The council has no voice in that meeting.
I had.
There is yes, and there,
A week or two ago, and I told them I had problems with the budget.
But you're the chair. You sit on the
But I
commission.
wasn't sitting in the chair, I was sitting in the back.
I'm
the chair now.
You sit on the commission though. You
Right.
have a
But I-
seat
but
on
I
that
brought it up.
commission.
well, if the questions are written out, President Martin, if the questions are written out, and then you can pose them to the fiscal commission on behalf of the councils. Plus, they do have a public remarks section.
Right.
And at that point, questions can be asked directly to the commission. Every public body has to have a public, remarks section for the Ohio Sunshine Law. So if the questions are written out, then President Martin can ask them, plus during public remarks, any questions that they have in terms of the difficulty that is being had in terms of reading and understanding the budget can be addressed at that time. And then there's plenty of time if there's still a need for another meeting to, you have more than 24 hours until Friday or Monday or whenever you want to have another meeting. But the fiscal commission meeting is tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And I would suggest that all the counselors work together to put together a list of questions for Martin to pose to the fiscal commission.
Ms. Timmons, when I was there the last time, you were there, when I brought up the issue about my concerns with the budget. And then I wrote the question out and they called on me. They let me speak at the beginning of the meeting. So my suggestion to our council people is that they come to the meeting tomorrow, have your questions, write your questions down, and they respond to mine. I don't see no reason why they wouldn't respond. And I'll be up there for the first time with the group. So my suggestion, if that doesn't work, we'll call a special meeting next week. to go back over the budget and make the cut that we think needs to be made.
The budget and the questions
Uh-huh.
that Hemmings is referring to as a balanced budget, I don't think that's what we're talking about. The
Well,
ba- it is
whatever-
not about- It is not about the budget balancing. It is
Mhm.
about those requested expenditures that are in that budget.
But whatever the questions are can be posed to the fiscal commission.
Right, so tomorrow at 1 o'clock. I think at this point,
That's on
we'll
us.
be there,
It's
Yeah.
at 1:30.
at 1:30 tomorrow, I will be there tomorrow, and if we're not satisfied tomorrow, we'll call a special meeting.
I can prepare a
And
draft for
Please,
Friday.
Tracy, notify, Brandon Chamberlain, Charles Iron, that we probably even have to meet to have a meeting. What-
We
what you
could look
suggest?
and see if maybe Friday afternoon, like around 1.
Right,
council
that's what I had in mind.
That
Yeah.
way you have. them
Friday,
here at
good
work.
deal.
It's just that, at all the employees are supposed to, be at an, event with the mayor, on Friday at 1.
That's what the city employees.
And that includes council.
No, it don't, because council ain't know nothing about it. Ain't know nothing about that. So why don't you stop it? You just need to stop it.
Let's keep our decorum.
Why we keeping the quorum now? You weren't trying to keep the quorum earlier.
Monday, is Monday a good time for you guys? I know what Mr. Holbeck and Ms. Stevens.
Isn't there a meeting on Tuesday anyway?
Is there?
Yeah, but we trying to.
December 20th?
I mean,
What about,
that's fine.
what about Friday at 10 o'clock?
That's fine.
Friday at 10 o'clock, or will it let the mayor know and Tracy, you follow up?
That's in the event that the fiscal commission doesn't answer.
But she said everybody's gonna be gone. What time are they leaving?
That wouldn't be until afternoon.
That's in the afternoon.
Is that where they
Okay. So for the record, everybody, you're gonna meet Friday at 10 o'clock in this room, okay? And make the time to get a confirmation.
Tomorrow, for sure.
Okay, after that, we don't have anything else to discuss, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
Well, wait, we still have remarks from the public.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Sure.
Mark and Put. Go ahead, Mr.
So let me go over this again.
Go.
Tentative meeting on Friday
10 a.m.
at 10 a.m.
Right,
All right.
okay, all right, Mr. O'Malley. Remarks to the public.
Yes. Thank you. And please give me my, all right. Number one, let's deal with the budget. It is incumbent upon this council to have the budget. And the finance director must be at all the finance meetings to meet with you. And let me deal with others. During my tenure on this council, we removed all others because you hide money in others. There is no such, that shouldn't be no, in no budget you've passing with others in it. You have it to remove others. And we did that during my tenure, and now I see you bringing it back, and I look at some of the things, it's just full of others. And that is a blatant violation. So I'm glad somebody asked, what is other? You hide money in others. Every money must have a line item and stipulates how much in that line item and not no other. Number two, Mr. President, when you speak, you pass the gavel to your vice president, and the vice president said you now have the floor to speak. And freedom of speech, we do have the freedom of speech, and no one can stop us from speaking, whether we speak loud or whether we speak in a bell tone or low or this, that, or the other. That's speaking. And so no one can stop you from speaking. Now, have said that, I agree with the council, agreeing having a a budget hearing, and the finance director must be at all budget hearings. And he doesn't only work for the mayor, he works for the city. And so you need to read your charter. Number three, my understanding, and I'm gonna read the charter to you.
53 seconds. 53 seconds.
Well, now I got 54 because you
Go
took
ahead.
some. That's found two places in the charter, 56 and 100, that the remaining council fill all vacancies. Not one person, nor a president. Only the president comes after you have 30 days. And secondly, they must start when the Board of Election has met and certified the petition. You can't start before that time. And the clock doesn't start ticking until they certify and they notify the clerk that whatever situation that is before them, they notify the clerk. And so I just want to let you know that is the law. It's in 56 and 100. Read it.
Thank you very much. Anyone else on the public?
That's the way
Anyone
it
else
is.
going once, going twice?
I had a question.
Yeah, who is that? Who is that? Zaki, go ahead. Zaki
Yes,
Rashid.
Yes,
Go ahead.
sir. Yes, good afternoon, council and attendees and president. I'm just curious because I understand that we're still in fiscal emergency, but I have not. And I've attended quite a few of these meetings, came to any conclusion as to what the administration's plan is to get us out of fiscal emergency. Simply reporting financial statements that continue to confirm we are in fiscal emergency, that's all and good because it's just basically reading the numbers. But what plan do we have going forward to get the city out of this condition and move forward in a way that will eventually get us out of fiscal emergency?
Mr. Rashid, I hope that we have answered that question, Friday at 10. Friday at 10, we'll see. Okay.
Mr. President?
Yes, Ms. Flores.
Just to remind everybody that there was a letter written, I think it was about 6 months ago, I could be off on the details, from the state auditor to State Senator and Representative Copen Hoffman, saying that because the mayor was spending more money than was appropriated, he had no anticipation that we would be out of fiscal emergency anywhere in the near future.
That's right.
And that was clearly stated in a letter to the legislature,
Thank you.
which I have sent to everyone.
Our next meeting will be in this room Friday. The day is tentative at 10 o'clock. If you change, you'll be notified. I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I would like to make one further statement.
Go ahead.
When I came back into town, I've been out of town, I found a delivery from Bonnie Speed. And if you recall correctly, I sent a notice to everyone, but especially to the clerk of council, saying that I did not want anything sent by Bonnie Speed because A, the cost is ridiculous for the amount of distance, but B, in this particular case, I was out of town and I had something sitting there basically advertising that I was out of town. And I want to remind the clerk of council that I do not want anything sent by Bonnie Speed unless I approve it in advance. And in this case, we got two numbers and I asked, who do these numbers apply to? And got no response. But I do not want things sent that way, sitting in front of my house.
Unless we know that you're out of town, we didn't know that. This was the packet for the meeting today to ensure that our counselors received it. If they don't pick it up and then they sit here and they don't have a packet of the information that is imperative for this meeting.
I have asked in the past that I
We will
never
make sure that we do
send
never send
anything
Tracy,
by Bonnie
Tracy,
Speed unless
Tracy,
I request.
Councilwoman Patricia Boweck doesn't want any Bonnie Speed, doesn't need any Bonnie Speed.
The only one that will get it, we'll make sure that. Mr.
Only Ms. Stevenson wants Bonnie Speed. Okay, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
Second.
Okay, meeting adjourned. Thank you.